Thanks everyone for attending Permissionless AI. So I'm going to talk about permissionless AI because if we want to be sovereign, like we need some way to access AI without gatekeepers, without asking for permission. So right now, there is actually no open way to access AI, because always when you want to access AI, you need to ask some company. You need to go to OpenAI, you need to go to Anthropic. So if you think about what do you need to actually access ChatGPT, like there's a centralized IP, there you need a credit card, you need actually to access the biggest models, you need KYC. It's a closed source model, like you can't run it yourself, and they collect your data. So similar to what Alex already told in his presentation, it is not actually OpenAI. So what is like actually OpenAI? Like not OpenAI, but OpenAI. And is it maybe, or what is decentralized AI? So if we think about decentralized AI, can we decentralize the training part of AI? Or can we decentralize inference? So to maybe also explain these terms, training is like the model, the brain of the AI, like developing that. And inference is like running the AI. So if you talk to ChatGPT, you talk to the inference of the model already got trained. And AI is actually like a really centralizing force in a way that you want to get a bunch of information in a really small single point to compress all that knowledge into like one really small piece. And then you take that really tiny piece of knowledge and you run it like on a bunch of GPUs. So like training is like compressing, and then inference is kind of like taking that compressed state and running it somewhere. So training is like, in a way, always like something that needs centralization. You need a bunch of GPUs at like one single place. And inference is actually an opportunity where we can decentralize. We can have inference in your local neighborhood. You could use the inference of the one guy who has a bunch of GPUs in his garage or wherever, and he provides the inference for you because you trust him. So inference is actually the one thing that we can decentralize. So if we think about decentralized AI, we should think about decentralized inference and not decentralized training. So who cares actually about OpenAI, like actual OpenAI? Today we have like a smaller group of people who cares about it, like activists, controversial people, journalists, anons. These people, they might be scared to ask the AI what they actually think, because they don't want to have some government watching their thoughts. So right now, you maybe don't know, or you maybe don't have the need of being private, or you don't have the need of talking to like OpenAI, because your thoughts might not be controversial, but at some point maybe the government censors more things, maybe the government decides to censor things that are normal today. So it might be that we care tomorrow way more about having private and OpenAI. So what are actually like properties that we want from OpenAI? So open_AI, not OpenAI. It should be permissionless. Like you shouldn't ask anyone for permission to talk to AI. It should be open source. You should be able to download the model. You should be able to see how the model got created. There should be like some way of like inspecting what you actually want to run. It should be anonymous. There shouldn't be an account. There shouldn't be a credit card attached to it. There shouldn't be a trace of the model company, finding, okay, this person asked that, and they ask how to create something strange, like we want to tell this to the police. And you want to use free money for it. You want to use censorship-resistant money for it. Like we want people in South America, in Asia, in Africa to be able to use the same products without needing to be in the same economy. And no one should ask for like your ID. So how could we achieve something like this? So at the one hand, we don't want subscriptions. We want private micropayments. We want to pay for what we actually use, and we want to not be tracked for what we use. So we want ephemeral identities. We want to be able to, like, if you do 2 requests, you don't want the same identity for both requests. You don't want to be tracked over your lifetime of like asking AI things. And we want fungible servers. So we don't want like OpenAI to have one server where you connect to OpenAI and you build your application on top of it. You can't use any other thing because they built like a different stack. They have a different API. They have a different way of how they interface. We want like a universal interface. Like all Bitcoin wallets use the same spec. Everyone can build a Bitcoin wallet without needing to like use a different spec. So we want like one unified stack for AI, and we want a permissionless money. So how could we combine Bitcoin with AI? If you saw like a lot of these crypto projects, they try to take on that AI hype. They try to like build something just to attach the name AI to it. But if we actually think about how can we create something useful where we connect Bitcoin to AI, and always if Bitcoin is a use case, then Bitcoin is used as money. So if we want to connect Bitcoin to AI, we want Bitcoin as a payment for AI. Just a layer that solves the payment. So a user just asks a AI provider, like here I want to ask this question, and he gives the provider Bitcoin, and he gets back a response. So it's just a simple transaction. I want to buy AI, here give me AI, and I give you the currency that is permissionless, that is decentralized. And we want not having a single entity that is able to, only a single entity that is able to like do this transaction. So what I'm thinking of as like fungible proxy is we want to be able to talk to anyone who hosts a AI proxy. So Alex Gleason maybe has some AI proxy running, you want to be able to go to him or to someone else without needing a different interface. So currently all these big models, you see I just put a few like logos there. You maybe want to access them, but you don't want to talk to them directly. So a fungible proxy would be people who host a proxy that just redirect these big models and allow you to access them with Bitcoin, but without needing to create an account, without needing to without needing a credit card, without needing permission. And these proxies are also able to host their own models locally in their home. Like they maybe bought a bunch of GPUs, they host Chinese models, maybe American models, whatever models they want, and they just sell it to users who want the AI models. So what I didn't mention, there's always a component of trust to AI. Like some people claim there's encrypted AI, but it is actually not possible to run the AI in an encrypted way. So you always need to send the prompt, which is your question, in an unencrypted way. And even if you use these services that claim to encrypt your prompt, it is, in the end, unencrypted on the GPU. So there's no way to actually encrypt the AI computation. Just mathematically, it's not possible. So in some way, you need trust to be able to connect to AI. So right now, we're trusting OpenAI, we're trusting Google, we're trusting AWS, whoever runs the model, that they don't store your prompts. We trust them that they supply the model that we ask for. Like if you want GPT-5 and maybe OpenAI gives you GPT-4, but you don't know it, and you pay for GPT-5, but you get only GPT-4. So you need some trust component in it. And also, you're connecting your credit card, or you're giving some temporary credit to like request the AI, so you don't want the AI provider to fraud you and take your money without giving you a service. So there's always like a tiny component of trust. And if we think about the future, there might be agents running on, like there might be high stakes in terms of agents managing certain things that are valuable. So if the AI provider injects the query that the agent needs, and then the agent does something that the company kind of like forces, it prompt injects the agents, then this could also lead to some malicious outcomes. So you always want some trust to the provider. And maybe you have heard of Nostr. It's the social layer of Bitcoin in a way. It's the layer of trust. So Nostr is the perfect layer to determine if you can trust someone, because your friends trust the person. So Nostr would be a perfect combination of like, you want to determine which AI provider you want to use. So you ask your friends, like, which provider do you use? And your friends say, I like this provider. And then you also use this and you try it and you see, okay, it works, I trust it. And it's, in a way, a decentralized layer of trust. Maybe Alex Gleason likes certain AI provider, and you maybe trust Alex Gleason, and then you trust this AI provider also. So, yeah, if we combine all these three technologies together, we can create a network of nodes that proxy AI, which is like paid with Bitcoin. You have the layer of trust of like which node is trustful. You have local clients who don't need to connect to a backend, they just connect to the trustful node in the network. And over Nostr you have a discovery of like all the nodes just published to Nostr. Here I exist, like you want to try my AI. And then the clients use Nostr to find the providers. And it creates a marketplace of like providers competing for more trust. They compete for prices, and it creates a natural marketplace of AI. So this is kind of like what we've been building with Routstr. So Routstr is this decentralized AI marketplace, this open AI protocol, actual open AI. And I just put here like a tiny overview of the GitHub and also the links where we host where we have a hosted version of the pages. So Routstr core is this like proxy, this core component of the network. Everyone can run it. If I die for some reason, like people still can run it. It's not a centralized component, it's in a way a node. And if you run Routstr core, you can sell AI, you can be discovered by people, and other people can build on top of your infrastructure. Then the chat app is a local-only client, so you can you can use it to like connect to the network. You can discover other people's nodes, and you can compile it locally. It's like you don't need to ask anyone for permission. There's no backend that like can rate limit you, that can censor you. It's just an application that connects to Nostr, and it connects to the network of decentralized AI. And yeah, here I have a few screenshots of how the chat app looks and what you can do with it. So you have a wallet in the chat app. So this is your Bitcoin. It's like a Cashew wallet. Maybe you heard of Cashew. It's just a way of like having custodial Lightning without anyone knowing how much you actually own. And in this way, you don't have an account for some service. You just have your local AI interface. Everything is stored on Nostr. So if you want to sync between different devices, you can use the same Nostr identity, and you have the same like chats. You have the same wallet. Everything is kind of like cloud synced on Nostr, and yeah, you can choose whatever model you want, because there are a bunch of providers. Like some provider maybe supports OpenAI models, some provider supports Anthropic models. So you can just choose whatever model you want without anyone being in the middle of like, if one provider censors you, you can just switch to the next one. And here I have some screenshots of what it looks like to be a node runner. So we created like a admin dashboard in a way where you can connect your AI accounts, you can connect your local models. You see the dashboard of these are all the models you offer. You can put your own prices, you can put your own descriptions, you can see like the sats flowing in. So it's just an admin dashboard for someone like providing AI. And yeah, this might be a lot of like information, so I'm curious if anyone has a technical question.
Hello, hello. So what are your thoughts on Routstr for specific communities? Like, do you envision there being like a Routstr for activists, Routstr for Germans, Routstr for my specific company? Just what are your thoughts on communities using Routstr nodes?
I think it could be building on top of the same vision like Nostr, where maybe someone in your local community just hosts a node. This person maybe hosts a few local models, and he only publishes his listing to the local relay. And you maybe tell your friends, like, use this. I'm like, I have it in my basement. Like, this is trustful server. I'm not looking into the logs. Like, so I think it would be a good way to like connect like local AI to like the people locally close to it, and where you can maybe check with your neighbor, like, is this actually like, does this like work, or is the guy trustful? And yeah, maybe some people, some sub-communities have like special fine-tuned models that they want to like somehow publish, but all the big platforms, they don't allow them to publish, so they can just publish with a node and just give them their special like Chinese model, maybe like the Chinese Taiwanese model that tells you about Tiananmen Square. Yeah, I think there's an opportunity for subgroups.
Any other questions?
Yes, I thought I can maybe also show a demo, if it's not breaking, of how it actually looks. Can also go in a new window. So you can go to chat.routstr.com. You can also take the code, compile it yourself. There's no backend or anything that could be restricting you. Yeah, if my internet is working. I think we just need to wait. Yeah, but it's basically you can top it up with Lightning. You can top up 100 sats, and I can. Oh, I don't have quickly get a cashew token. So here you can see, you can also connect your Nostr Wallet Connect. You can insert a cashew token or pay with Lightning. So just going to show you a 500 sat invoice that I can hopefully pay. Also, you can try it yourself. So you can go to chat.routstr.com. And here you see, because we have internet problems, it has problems connecting to Nostr. Oh no, it connected, so that's good. Yeah, the demo is not perfect because of the internet. But you see the balance, you can connect your own mint, you can choose whatever mint you want. And so I want to receive Lightning. Anyone can pay the invoice, I will pay you back. Or maybe the Lightning wallet loaded, maybe I can actually do it. It is paid. So then you can see like some models are not available because you need more sats to use them, because these models are so expensive that a request might cost more than the balance you have. That doesn't mean that a request costs that much. So most likely a request just costs like 1, 2, 3 sats. But because there's no deterministic way to determine like, okay, this is how much the request costs, you need to like give the provider more, and then after the provider gave you back the request, you get a refund of like, this is how much you actually need. So for example, we can use Gemini models, Grok, like all the models are basically available, DeepSeek, like anything you want. It is available, you just need enough sats. So we can't use the new GPT 5.2. We could use it if we just deposit a few more sats, but for example, we could ask Gemini, hey, the most interesting prompt. Maybe you guys have some prompt ideas? Yeah, hey there. And you see there's like reasoning, so you can actually look at the reasoning, and you see this request, it was a pretty expensive high. You see it costs 4 sats. And we could use an image generation model, so we could ask, can you generate so you could even use this for like generating some images for some tool. And the interesting thing about like having an open protocol is you can build applications on top of it, but you don't need to hard code a endpoint into the application, because Nostr is a way of discovering all these endpoints. So if you can implement a generic way of like connecting to AI, and you just give the user the ability to deposit sats in terms of like scan a lightning invoice, top up your wallet. You have the way of like building applications without being like connected to one entity, without being connected to one company. But you can build applications on a generic permissionless AI layer, and you can use api.routstr.com, but you can use, there's one guy who has a node running on private provider.xyz, or there's one guy running a node on api.nonkycai.com. So there are a bunch of different Routstr nodes that you could use. And here you see, for some reason, it came twice. But this image, btcplusplus, costs 20 sats. You make it more special. So you can do all the things you know that ChatGPT can do, but without attaching your identity, without being like traceable. Cashew is fully anonymous, so there's no way of like tracing back your flow of funds. So I think this is like the thing that should be in your sovereign Bitcoin stack to benefit from AI, but without being like tracked by AI. Still the two images. Yeah, this seems definitely more special. Maybe someone has an image or anything. I can also show you, so on the main page, we have a nice globe where you can see like the different nodes that people so far host. So you can, for example, see here's like a node in France, and then you can even connect to the Tor endpoint of this node, or you can just connect to the HTTP URL, and you can basically use this in any API application where you have OpenAI connected, and okay, this is the admin dashboard, but here's so the person can connect to the admin dashboard, but there's also a cheat sheet. So if you click on any node, you can see it's pretty simple to integrate it into your application. Yeah. This is basically what we are building with Routstr, and this is hopefully the future layer of how you build applications on top of AI.
Check.
Can a provider price a model any way that they like? So do they get something out of it is basically what I'm asking, or is it more like a transparent public good service? Or
Yeah, you can just set your own price. You can put it like 3x the normal price. You can put it below the normal price. And at some point there might be a smart algorithm. So if you put a lower price, then everyone will use your provider because it's the cheapest one. So
awesome, okay, thank you.